First of all, very good afternoon to all of you who are joining this webinar. The Department of Information Technology, Parur Polytechnic Institute has organized webinar on virtualization and cloud computing. I, Maulika Patel, introduce expert Mr. Tapan Patel. After completion of BTech in Information Technology, he was worked with the Credential Solutions, Riper Cloud Solutions Private Limited. Right now, he is working with Dev Information Technology as a senior developer and an administrator and the cloud working. So I welcome Tapan Patni to present their seminars or webinar here. Welcome, Tapan. Start to the webinar, sir.
Tapan sir, the webinar has started. You can start with your presentation.
Yeah. Hello, friends. First of all, I would like to thank Parul University to give me this wonderful opportunity. And sorry, there is some disturbance. Like I am getting double sound. Just a moment. Yeah, Maulika ma'am, thanks for the introduction. Just a moment. I am getting a double recording. Yeah. Hello, friends. First of all, I would like to thank Parul University to give me this wonderful opportunity, and special thanks to Ms. Maulika Patel to give this chance to conduct this webinar. I hope you and your family are safe and sound. I'm Tapan Patni, a DevOps engineer and certified AWS solution architect. I am working into this field and have 3+ years of experience in area of DevOps and cloud computing. For more update on my career, you can check my LinkedIn profile. For trending topics on IT, you can visit my blogs where I keep posting all latest upcoming technology in very simple words that a layman also can understand the concept and how they are used in the world of IT. You can find both my LinkedIn profile and blog links on your screen as well as into description down below. Introducing to our today's webinar topic as mentioned on your screen and title, virtualization and cloud computing. I know how boring the webinar and expert lectures are. I have also passed from situation, so I made very limited slides with more interesting concept and learning. Hope you will enjoy this session and learn some new fundamentals in field of IT and cloud computing. You can raise your queries into below comment box, which I will get back at the end of the session. So let's get started. In today's session, we will be discussing about some basic concept like what is cloud computing, what are servers and clients, what is virtualization and how virtualization is used in cloud computing, how cloud will take our current era where we are using in-house servers, how many types of cloud are there, and how many cloud computing works in IT industry, some pros and cons of cloud, upcoming era where machine will rule over the next generation, and finally frequently asked questions and some queries from our comment session. I hope looking at these all topics interest you more and make you your query to know more. So let's get started straight into our today's topic for what we are gathered for, virtualization and cloud computing. What is cloud computing? As you know and have listened to word cloud computing nowadays often, but what do you actually mean by the term cloud computing? Is it a real cloud carrying our servers, or some wireless networking that connects us to that moving cloud? Is it only data storage, or Google Drive is what all the cloud is? I know you all have so many questions in your mind. Don't worry. When I also started my career into this field, I also had same silly questions coming up, and nothing is wrong in that. What I think is the more you ask, the more you learn. No questions are silly. As you can see on your screen, there is a image of cloud carrying different infrastructure like virtual desktop, softwares, servers, application, storage, etc. And they are connected with your router, that is internet, and eventually going into connected device like your tablet, mobile, laptop, etc. So in simple terms, this is only how cloud works. Let's see what actually cloud computing means and what all things are there in cloud, how they are used, and how does cloud works. The word cloud is used as a metaphor for internet. As you know, internet is combination of two words, inter plus network, which means interconnected networks to transmit data from one node to another. I hope you must have learned in these all concepts in your networking classes and seminars. Whereas computing stands for technology to compute a given goal oriented task, which means computing is nothing but a machine used to complete the given commands or request in given time, same as our personal computers. So in simple terms, the phrase cloud computing means a type of internet based computing, which means you can access your computer virtually, which is not available physically in front of you but is located somewhere far from you, which contain all things same as your personal computer like CPU, RAM, hard disk, operating system, and whatsoever that are required in a physical computer. So, cloud computing is nothing but service that includes server, storage, application, etc., which are delivered to your computer and device through the internet. The servers are located in different geolocation endpoints around the world, which can be accessed from any internet connecting device from anywhere, as I explained above. Now, everyone would have one question. If you already have your system, that is your personal computer with you, and to access the system located somewhere on cloud, you require one device that contains internet to connect. Then what is the use of virtual located systems? Well, answer is pretty simple. Servers need to be running 24 cross 7, 365 days a year. That means if server are stopped or shut down, your application will go down, which is direct a business loss. And our personal computers are not capable to handle such traffic running 24 cross 7, 365 days. And where cloud computing plays very important role, that is servers and client. Let's move to our next slide where we will discuss and understand what server and client are more in detail. Before that, I would request you all to like the video and give a thumbs up, as it motivates me and give more energy to make content like this. Also, don't forget to comment down below. What are servers and clients? In simple terms, if I explain, when a machine makes some request to other system containing application or data, the system who is requesting is known as client system, whereas the system who is responding is known as server system. In this scenario, anyone can be the server and client depending who is requesting and who is responding. So if we see to a formal definition of server and client, server is system where your application is stored. When requested by the client system, it uses its processing power and memory to respond the requester. Whereas Client is the system who is willing to use the application stored into the server to get the data, application, etc. by a requester. On this concept only whole cloud computing works. I hope now you have understood why servers are kept on cloud and not into your personal computers, as it requires lot of processing power running 24 cross 7. In further slides, we will look into this more deeply to understand more on cloud and how cloud is more convenient than in-house servers. But before that, let us understand the concept of virtualization and how it is used in cloud computing. I hope till now it's not boring and you are enjoying the session and learning some interesting new concepts. Let me know if you have any query till now understanding any concept in comment section down below. As now we will deep dive into the world of cloud. Let's move on to our next slide, which is on virtualization. Okay, friends. So, what do you understand by the term virtualization? In general terms, virtualization means the thing which is not available physically but act and work same as reality. I know it's so much confusing. Let's look at this with some example to understand more deeply. As you can see in image, we have different type of resources available here. Storage, you have networks, you have servers, you have virtual infrastructure, you have virtual machine, operating system, application, and finally it's coming to the end user. Further, this is divided into micro parts as per the required. For example, storage is divided into small parts called volumes. Networks are further divided into small parts called subnet. Server are having many components like CPU, memory, GPU, etc. And further they are divided into virtual CPU, virtual memory, etc., where V stands for virtual. Okay, so till now we understood that every infrastructure component are divided into small parts and are being allocated to the virtual standalone system. But how actually are they divided and what is virtual infrastructure? Well, to know more on this, we first have to look into what hypervisor is. And before that, I would request you all, if you have any query regarding till now, please mention down below in comment section, so as at the end of the session we can cover that. Okay, so there are two types of hypervisor. First is bare matter, also known as embedded hypervisor, which directly runs on system hardware. And second is hosted hypervisor, which runs on some host operating system. But this question still arises that what actually is hypervisor? So, general definition of a hypervisor is it is a computer software or hardware that creates and runs virtual machine, which means it divides the single physical hardware component into two or more smaller parts to be used to run a standalone operating system. A computer on which a hypervisor runs one or more virtual machine is called a host machine, and each virtual machine is called a guest virtual machine. I know this definition are way harder to understand, and this is what it makes difficult to understand. The same scenario was also during my college sessions. I never paid attention to these small minor details. So let's break this definition for you to make it more clear. So hypervisor is nothing but, you can say, software or hardware, depending on which hypervisor it is, as discussed above. If it is type 1, that is bare matter, then hardware level hypervisor, and if it is type 2, then it is software level hypervisor. As I mentioned earlier also, that hypervisor is nothing but it divides your hardware component into smaller parts to give that resources to the virtual machine. So in either scenario, if it is a hardware level or software level, both work similar to divide the hardware to give the component resources virtual machine. In simple terms, the use of hypervisor is nothing but to divide the hardware in two or more parts so that multiple operating system or virtual operating system can run on single hardware component resource like CPU, memory, storage, etc. As already I explained you earlier. After the division, they are being allocated to every individual standalone virtual box, which further are operated by having different kind of operating system running on them. For example, if an organization has a big hardware like 100 GB of RAM and a multi-level processor, that is a 32 core processor or a 86 processor, a company can divide further that processor processing power and memory to give to a standalone virtual system and allocate that resources to every individual virtual machine. So it's also a cost saving and also gives you a virtual environment where organization can more productive as per their requirement. If organization is required Microsoft, they can also use Microsoft product, Windows, etc. things, as well as Linux if they required, like Ubuntu, CentOS, RHEL, etc. Same as you can see on your screen. Every operating system runs standalone application as per required and development made by organization. Here, it gives the main advantage as the hardware resource are no more wasted, and also you can run different application on different operating system having the same hardware. Thus, this is known as the hardware or software level virtualization, or you can say in simple words, physical level virtualization. Okay, so as I explained you this, there is a physical level uh, virtualization as well as uh, you can say software level virtualization. As you know now, what does the word virtualization means? It means it is not really available in front of you, but it behaves as the reality. So if you have a large resource but it is unoccupied, in simple terms you can say that you can divide that large uh, box of hardware or a software to give multiple user the access. For let me give you with some example. If you are staying into a hostel, right, a hostel has a single room, right? In a single room, many uh, two or three people are living there, right? But also a single person can live there. But why the owner of the hostel is dividing a single room into three parts? Because a single space can be divided and utilized uh, by multiple peoples, right? So same way, you consider a big room as your hardware and uh, the students as your resource, virtual machines who is occupying the bed, right? I hope now you all know what is virtualization. Okay, what is hypervisor is and how cloud computing use this concept of virtualization and provides us the hardware resource and operating system to deploy our application on demand. If you still have some queries, let me know in comment section below. Also, I have written a wonderful blog on how whole cloud computing and virtualization works. I request you all to visit my blog once if you are interested in trending topics like this and know more how things work in real IT industry. Also, you can contact me directly on my LinkedIn to get in touch with me professionally so that we can discuss more about your interest. Okay, so coming to our next slide, how cloud will take over in-house servers. First of all, uh, I hope you all know what does a in-house server means. A in-house server is nothing but an infrastructure that is organized or managed by the organization, and a server room is independently working with some you can say man force, right? So let's understand more deeply. Very first and important point, in-house servers required a capital investment in hardware and infrastructure, as I told you earlier. For example, you required powerful system to process the concurrent request coming from client, high internet bandwidth, powerful processor, RAM, storage, etc., and many more things, which means you need to buy every necessary equipments and big servers, which eventually give you a big upfront costing. In this sense, I mean to organization, right? So in-house, why in-house server nowadays is not that much compatible as cloud. Second and foremost thing is it needs space in your office for a rack or server room, in addition to dedicate IT support. Other costs like air conditioner, cooling fans, and cleanliness for server to stay cool and dust free for better performance. As you all know, if there is no cooling processor or no cooling fans, or if you can say the servers are full of dust, the performance of the servers are downgraded, right? So this is the other maintenance cost where the organization have to pay, which means it will require large space to keep and maintain your servers, adding up cost as well as manpower to manage and maintain your IT assets. What does the IT asset means? Your infrastructure. This this increase more chance for the data loss, as in-house infrastructure has no disaster recovery plans. If you are willing to set up any hardware for your disaster recovery, it again adds up another large cost for and manpower for its maintenance. Here, what does a disaster recovery means? In the scenario where server goes down, or you can say there is a power cut at your end, right? But your business is running on your web application, or you can say live desktop application, where you require a client required continuous data to write or fetch or read, right? So in that scenario, your business may go to downtime, and which lead to business loss. These are higher chances to l- less uptime due to power cuts of data loss, which eventually leads to business loss. Also, many a time application get corrupted due to unexpected shutdown and power cuts, as you all know and have friends, when you are working on some word, excel, powerpoint, or any xyz thing, and suddenly your desktop or laptops turns down, right? The file which on you are working on, it gets corrupted or it's unable to open. In this case scenario, the application and the server are highly impacted, as there are many data flow going on to and fro. So this is the main reason why nowadays any organization prefers to move on cloud rather than maintaining the assets on premises. Now, as you know, why big or small companies prefer more to go on cloud. This is in-house setup. In upcoming slides, you will see how companies and organization move their infrastructure to cloud, and concept of in-house servers is extended day by day. Okay, so I hope till now it is interesting and not boring you much, right? As I have made some interesting slides. So now going into deep dive into cloud, first of all, we will look types of cloud computing. There are three types of cloud available in market. As you can see on screen, public, private, and hybrid. Let's talk about each and every cloud one by one. First is public cloud. A public cloud is nothing but a common cloud provider openly available to everyone to use their cloud services via internet. That means any cloud provider who is available to share their infrastructure to any organization and provide cloud services is known as cloud provider. Let me give you some example of public cloud so you can understand this in simple terms. Google Drive, which is which you are accessing, is a public cloud, which means this service is publicly available. And one more, and anyone having a Gmail account can use it, right? Same way, Amazon has its own public cloud called AWS, that is Amazon Web Services, which also offers public cloud services. Coming to our second cloud, that is private cloud. Private cloud is nothing but an in-house created cloud environment of any organization where only the employee of the organization have the privilege to use its service via internet. That is interconnected network of the organization. Employees of the organization can only use this cloud service when they are into the organization network or connected through organization private VPN. I hope everyone knows what is a VPN, because nowadays to watch any blog sites or to access any blog site, everyone is using VPN. VPN is nothing but virtual private network. The main drawback of private cloud is they are located in-house and give you huge maintenance cost as mentioned in previous slides. Also, you can use its cloud services over internet of outside the organization network. This gives less accessibility to the user who are moving out of the organization and want to use cloud services. Coming to the last type of cloud, that is hybrid cloud. As per name, hybrid is combination of public and private cloud, where you get the advantage to access your cloud service over internet and also connect your private organization cloud with public cloud providers. It is nothing but the combination of public and private cloud, where you can come over the drawbacks of private cloud using the public cloud network. So now, as you know what cloud is and how many types of cloud are available, let's see how does any company sells the cloud products, or how can a product be made on a cloud. As you can see on the screen, there are three aspects to sell your cloud service. First is IaaS, where I stands for infrastructure as a service. Second, PaaS, where P stands for platform as a service. And lastly, SaaS, where S stands for software as a service. Okay, now you everyone would have one query: what does infrastructure, platform, software means? So let's get deep down into it. In infrastructure as a service, a cloud provider sells the infrastructure to deploy any application And cloud provider is only responsible for providing hardware for networking, storage, servers for processing, and virtualization for the provided resources. Application, data, runtime, middleware, operating system, etc. are being managed by the organization. In simple terms, as you can see on your screen, there are two colors, blue and green, right? So green is managed by the vendors and blue is managed by the organization. So what does a vendor means? Your cloud provider. As I said earlier, a Google Cloud or a Microsoft Azure Cloud or a AWS Cloud, they can provide in three ways. That is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, or a software as a service. Where in infrastructure of the as a service, they covers networking, storage, servers, and virtualization. Okay, same way in platform as a service, everything except application and data are being provided by the cloud provider. As you can see in the image, the green section, which is networking, storage, servers, virtualization, even operating system, middleware. What does a middleware means? The communication, the interface between the operating system and the hardware, runtime. These all things are provided by the vendor, which is your cloud provider, right? And same way in software as a service, everything is handled by the cloud service provider. The organization is only concerned with the end product to use them. Let me give you the example. You are using Google Cloud, right? Google Drive. So Google Drive manages all his networking things, so storage things, servers, virtualization, operating system, middleware, runtime, data application, etc. things, right? But the main concern is you are getting the end product, right? What does the end product means? You are getting a storage on a Google Drive to store your data. You are least concerned about how it is stored, where it is stored, what is the operating system behind it, what are the server, storage, networking, etc. things. Correct? So in this three phase, that is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, all the cloud things come under these three category. So this is how cloud works. Hope things are getting more interesting as we have learned most of the things regarding cloud. Let me know if you have any query till now, understanding any concept in comment section down below. As now we have completed learning most of the part, that what is cloud, how does it works, and most important, how cloud is used in large and small scale organization. Let's move to our next slide to see some advantage and disadvantage of cloud computing to conclude how cloud is better than in-house server or on-premises servers. So in above slide, we already have discussed many advantages and disadvantages of public and private clouds. How the disadvantage of private cloud is overcoming using the hybrid cloud. Here we will see in general pros and cons of cloud computing. First and foremost advantage of cloud computing is there is no need for outside hardware or capital expense, which means everything is provided by your cloud providers. This is best for small companies who cannot afford big hardware costs to deploy their application and maintain them. So, in simple terms, a small company does not need to worry about their infrastructure or hardware, as it also requires a huge maintenance cost after setting up once, right? So they can directly go to any cloud provider and buy the resources from them. Other biggest advantage of cloud is you can increase or decrease your storage capacity, compute power, as well as increase decrease servers as and when needed on demand. In simple technical terms, this is called as scaling. Using cloud, it becomes easy to scale your resource and scale your resource up and down, even vertical and horizontally, which is mainly used during DevOps automation, while automating the things which helps in cost reduction due to your business peak time. Other advantage is you are only charged as per your usage, which means pay as you go service. You only pay for the resources which you are using. While in shutdown state, it won't charge you any upfront cost, which means whatever resource you are using for what time, you only pay for that time period only. Backup and restoration of servers and data are so fast that it just take few minutes before everything is on one click for from anywhere and from any device having internet. Even the automated backup system make it easy and convenient for the user to forget about disaster recovery. As I discussed, what is disaster recovery, right? You also have a latest backup available in worst case an application crashes. So getting servers again up in running just take few minutes. So in few minutes you can make your servers back up in running, which makes business run 24 by 7 with least downtime and fastest recovery. Okay, so we looked at the advantage of the clouds. Now let's see some disadvantage as well. As every good technology also has some drawbacks, right? So first disadvantage is data recovery cost is high and costly. Obviously, if you are getting a quick service uh, in few minutes or few seconds, right, on few clicks, it also gives you a big cost. Same way as the train and the plane. Train and the plane destination are the same, but a train takes a long time, so it's cheaper than the cost of the airplane, right? Cloud technology requires experts and experienced person to handle your IT assets running on cloud, which eventually again means you need to give more uh, pay to the cloud technician than your in-house technician. Data security and privacy is the biggest concern, as if you don't pay your monthly bills on time, you may risk your data and also in some case lose the data. So again, as this is a pay as you go, so you need to pay every monthly billing, right? Or you can also, there is also one more advantage, you can pay the yearly upfront cost, right? If internet, the second advantage, if internet goes down on your side, you won't be able to access information stored on cloud. But come on, I agree internet can go down, but nowadays when we have many options to get internet, as every device nowadays have internet, right? Our mobile phones, our tablet, laptop, our wi-fi, every single thing has the internet. So there is very less chance that we are not connected to internet. So it's even easy to connect from anywhere anytime. The cost of cloud engineer is way more costly than a normal in-house server manager engineer, as I told you earlier. I hope this gives you some more interest in learning cloud, as our further future are now on clouds. So we are into end of our slides, and I hope I haven't bored you much into this lecture. In upcoming slides, we will discuss on machine ruling over next generation. I would request you all to please write down the comment down if you have any query till now. I would be looking into them after the presentation and try to solve them. Okay, great. So, talking about upcoming era where machine rules over the next generation. As per the title, you already have understand. Nowadays, there are lot many upcoming technology by which machine will take over the jobs and intelligence of human race. All the respective tasks which human are doing will be governed by machines in coming era. But for all these things, cloud plays a very important role. Let's look into it how cloud is connected with every upcoming trends in the revolution of IT industry. As you can see on my screen, trending topics where every trends are directly or indirectly connected with cloud. Let's talk about artificial intelligence. As you know, nowadays most trending topics is AI, where machine use their intelligence to complete the work. For example, Apple Siri, Google Assistant, Samsung Bixby, and many more. I hope you all have heard about any one of these. Every AI technology are stored and run on cloud. How? Let's see. AI requires high capacity server to process the data and convert data into information to be used in algorithm and process them for their intelligence. These highly capacity servers are stored on cloud as it increases its database size le- day by day by learning from data. So, cloud is the best option as it can be scaled up easily when needed. Same way, big data is the biggest problem nowadays as data is getting increased day by day. Everything related to big data are stored on cloud as the storage is cheaper on cloud as well as can be accessed from any location in the world. Talking about machine learning, this is only nowadays most trending technology in the field of IT, right? Machine learning is nowadays most trending topics in IT. It required high storage capacity servers with high performance power to run script and store data. As machine learning works on processing data, data processing generally requires long time to process data. Sometimes it takes months and years, which requires high availability of resources which are occupied during the process. If this kind of technology are being set up in house, it becomes very costly to maintain them for any small organization. So big organization obviously can afford because they have lots of money and also the infrastructure to maintain this kind of things. But they also prefer more to go on a private cloud if they are uh, going in the organization privately. Same way, DevOps and data science required high-end tools scripting to make things automate, which required scalability of infrastructure and storage drives, which can never be achieved by in-house servers as in-house servers are not scalable and maintenance cost is higher on cloud. On, on cloud, co- uh, continuous integration and continuous deployment is much easier than on premises. What I know, you all guys don't know continuous integration and continuous deployment, but it is the process used in the DevOps to make your application agile so that it can be continuously integrated and deploy onto the servers, and the developer don't need to worry about the deployment and taking time, as tools are easier to configure and available on few clicks. Cloud also provides you facility to run your code without having servers, which is also known as serverless programming, where the developer is much more focused on developing the products rather worrying about the hardware and infrastructure. This is how the upcoming era looks like, where physical work of human would be taken by machines. Let us move to our last slide where we will discuss some top cloud providers worldwide. Before that, I would request you all to like this video and give a thumbs up as it motivate and give more energy to me make content like this. Okay, so coming on to our last slide, top cloud providers worldwide. As you can see on your screen, here are some top cloud providers worldwide. These all cloud provider are publicly available as well as privately available, depending on what service you are taking, right? Also, you can connect your private cloud with the public provider, that is known as hybrid cloud, as we discussed earlier. So there are many providers like Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Services, that is AWS, Google Cloud Platform, Alibaba Cloud, IBM Cloud, Oracle Cloud, and many more. Every cloud provider have advantage over each other. It is same as choosing your best smartphone company. It varies person to person. Same way as mentioned cloud providers, everyone are best in their areas to provide services. It's the organization's choice which suits best with their requirement. Here we come to the end of our presentation. I hope you liked it. Also, you learned lot of new concept of cloud and how does it works. Let's see to our comment and solve some queries asked by you. I would recommend you to visit my blogs if you find this presentation valuable and interesting. There I have written many blogs on trending topic like this. Also, further interaction, let's connect professionally over LinkedIn, where we can communicate and discuss upon your queries in personal. All the links are mentioned on your screen as well as in descriptions. I would hand over the mic to Ms. Maulika Patel to take over the session further, and let us read the comment section.
Okay, wait for a minute, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, Maulika ma'am.
One student asked the questions, what could be a better future in information technology? Software development, data analysis, game development, or the web designing?
Okay, nice question. So, in coming future, see whatsoever you give the technology and trends, the upcoming trends is very much higher in every IT field, as IT field is moving more over the virtualization than the physical aspect, right? So what interests you more is important rather than going into वन फ्लो. आई कैन से भेड़ चाल करने से अच्छा है कि आपका जो इंटरेस्ट है उसमें आगे बढ़ो, बिकॉज अल्टीमेटली what passions you work highly in the same field, right? But coming to back to this point, every industry directly and indirectly, as I discussed, is connected to cloud, because every servers, every application, everything are stored on cloud nowadays, and we are extracting the in-house servers. So yeah, cloud plays very important role in this all scenarios. So whatsoever technology and trends you go in, cloud will play a very important role.
Okay, one more question, that how the load balancing in a cloud computing? Sometimes happen that the
Okay,
clouds are too much loaded and a server is goes off. So how the load balancing done in a cloud computing?
correct. So let me go again on my previous slides. Yeah, here. So here I discussed the term virtualization, right? So how this is been load balanced. Uh, there are many servers under one load balancer, right? For example, you can say a same application is deployed in two or more servers, right? So every request are automatically dip down to either servers, that is the server number one, either a server number two. In this scenario, if also load increases, we have the option to auto scale the things. As I discussed, cloud can be scaled up, down, also virtually, vertically and horizontally, which means scale up and down, which means you can increase or decrease your storage performance capacity, CPU, RAM, memory, etc. things, as well as you can increase the server capacity horizontally or vertically. So this is how load is balanced on the cloud. I hope I answered your question.
And which are the good companies for the students if they are interested on a cloud computing or they do the projects, because they have no reference where they want to go for the work for the cloud. So is there any goods companies?
Okay, great. So I would recommend everyone to make a AWS account, that is Amazon Web Services account, as first of all, Amazon provides you a free trial for 1 year, that is 12 months, as well as Amazon have launched some student interaction sessions where students also get some money depending on how they are working in house, or how they are doing productive things on AWS, and deploying their application and working with the full-fledged cloud products. So I would recommend everyone to go on AWS portal and search for uh, the console dashboard, where the login is free for 12 months.
Okay. Is there any private courses are available for the clouds?
Many private courses are available on the net. Even on YouTube, if you can search, you will get many private courses. But I would recommend to learn by the official websites of the AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, because uh, see, in classes, whatever they coach you or teach you is the same relevant what you get in the documentation. But while learning the documentation, you also open many ways to see the things and learn more, whereas while doing some coaching classes or something like that, it uh, just uh, you can say some you brain your brain, you will see the limited things going around you, what is taught, and you won't explore more. Yeah.
Okay. Now, no, sir, no more questions for the student. So, again, a special thanks to the management of the Paru University in supporting and providing a platform and resources in a very short time span. And also to Professor Jatin sir and our Professor Zubin sir as a head of department in guiding us throughout the planning phase. And again, thanking Tapan Patel to accept our invitation to deliver on a webinar talk, and to my whole IT department for their continuous efforts to make the event possible. Once again, thanks all of you, my students, and thank you, Tapan. Thank you from my whole department.
Thank you, Malika ma'am and Parul University to give this wonderful opportunity to express my knowledge and explore that. Thank you.
Jiten sir.